This is a scene from the 1996 movie Fargo, the fifth feature film from the writer-director team of Joel and Ethan Coen and surprise indie hit at the box office. The film lives long in the memory and has cemented its place in American cinema history, with its story of greed, deceit, betrayal and murder in the American Midwest. The film has had such a lasting impact that it has led to the creation of 4 series of an anthology television series, with each series receiving positive critical reviews. And this is what I want to look at in this video. Just what is it about this movie that over 25 years later, not only is it still remembered, but the elements of its plot have been retold 3 times, soon to be 4 times, and still we continue to watch. Now, while a movie being remade into a television series isn't a particularly unique thing, what's different about the Fargo adaptations? The Fargo television series doesn't feature any of the same characters from the movie. It isn't necessarily set in the same locations or even the same time period. While the original 1996 film is mainly set between Minneapolis, Brainerd and Fargo in 1987, for season 1 of the television show we jump forward to 2006, back to 1979 for series 2, forward again to 2010 for series 3, and finally all the way back to 1950s Kansas City for season 4. So while there are small details linking each season and the original film together, such as the scene in season 1's episode Eating the Blame, when we see a flashback of the briefcase full of money from the movie being discovered, they aren't ever really what you would describe as major plot points, but more an acknowledgement of admiration for the Coen brothers' original story. But if the plot in each season are almost entirely separate from each other, and indeed from the original Coen brothers' plot, then what exactly is it that they take from the original film and make them, well, Fargo? Because make no mistake, when you watch an episode from any season, despite the different characters and time periods, you just know that it's Fargo. You know that you're in that Fargo universe created by the Coen brothers in 1996. But what is it that defines this Fargo universe? For me, I think it's those elements that, when you think back to the original film, automatically come to mind. It's the scenery, the dialogue, the music, and the question of morality, that conflict between good and evil. The scenery in the Fargo universe can probably be summed up in one word: snow. The bleak landscape of the Midwestern winter has become synonymous with Fargo, to the extent that the snow almost feels like another character in the film. The cold weather is continuously referred to in pleasant small talk between the movie's characters, and the impact of the cold winter is used to enhance the plot of the film. From Jerry's frustration at only being offered a finder's fee after his proposal to Wade being compounded by having to clear the frost from his windshield, to a number of characters finding their attempts to run for their lives halted by the thick Minnesota snow. The Coen brothers are renowned for the memorable, snappy dialogue in their films, and Fargo is no exception. The majority of the dialogue in Fargo can be characterised as Minnesota nice, defined as a cultural stereotype applied to the behaviour of people from Minnesota, implying residents are unusually courteous, reserved, mild-mannered and passive-aggressive. This dialogue is prevalent throughout the original film in many of the background characters, and is particularly strong in the characters of Jerry Lundegaard and Marge Gunderson, with Marge's form of Minnesota nice feeling warm and genuine, compared to Jerry Lundegaard, who often appears frustrated at having to keep up the pleasantries. Much like the scenery, the accents in the film feel like an extra character, and this theme of the mix between genuine Minnesota niceness and the almost pleasant out-of-habit niceness is something that I think carries from the film through to each season of the television series. If you close your eyes and think of Fargo, it's hard not to hear the opening violin strings from the film's main theme, titled Fargo, North Dakota. Haunting and atmospheric, it draws you in and stays with you long after the film has finished. During the opening scene, it builds to an orchestral lift just as we see Jerry Lundegaard's pickup truck come into view through the snowstorm, letting us know that this truck and this journey are part of a far more sinister story than they would appear. And this style of score remains throughout the Fargo television series, always suggesting a dark undertone to the plot beneath the pleasant exterior of the Midwestern settings. But for me, the biggest theme that connects each story and plot in every Fargo series is the question of morality and the conflict between the good and evil in our world. When we look at the cast of characters in the original film and in each of the television series, there's always a similar pattern in the type of characters who feature. In every story, there are characters who represent the good in the world. They share morals and values where they believe in honesty and doing the right thing. From Marge Gunderson in the original film to Gus Grimley and Molly Solverson in Season 1, her father Lou Solverson in Season 2, and Gloria Burgle in Season 3. When you look at the background of these characters, what they all seem to have in common is that they all seem to come from happy places. They have happy home lives with people they care for and who care for them. In contrast, every Fargo story also features characters who represent the bad in the world. From Carl and Gare in the original film to Lorne Malvo in Season 1 and Varga in Season 3. These characters appear to have no moral compass and think little of taking another person's life in order to get what they want, whether it be murdering someone themselves or having somebody do it for them. There's a third type of character we get in a Fargo story, usually falling in between those on the side of good and evil, and it's the character whom the plot is usually based around. That character who comes from an ordinary background, or if you like, the good side, but find themselves drawn into the unfamiliar world of criminality, whether it be through greed and the desire for financial gain, such as Jerry Lundegaard in the Coen brothers film and Lester Nygaard in Season 1, or a sense of injustice in the case of Ray Stussy in Season 3. The outcome for these three categories of characters usually follows the same pattern in Fargo. Those on the side of good tend to find a happy ending, while those on the side of evil usually meet an unhappy demise. Those characters in that third category find themselves falling deeper and deeper into a web of lies, which eventually catches up with them, usually ending with a life in prison or something worse. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments section what your favourite version of the Fargo story is. If you enjoyed the video, then please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as I have another video coming soon. See you all next time.